Hello everyone and welcome back to GregTech New Horizons. We are starting today's episode in a little bit of a weird place because, well, last episode we got the tier 1 rocket and I ended off the episode by launching it to space, but apparently, for some reason, the oxygen gear that I was wearing was completely empty, so we actually died in space. And actually, once that happened, I kind of rage quit and deleted the footage, so it's actually the next day for me. Today apparently is Valentine's Day, and we actually loaded a backup from about 20 minutes prior to the launch. And I mean, I guess it's a good thing that I loaded the backup because there's actually one more thing that I forgot to do before going out to space, which is first of all grabbing all the backpacks. It's extra storage, why not? And I also want to upgrade all of these backpacks to the next tier here, which only takes some tanned leather and stainless steel rings. I think also these have to be empty before we make the upgrades, which they already are. And that should be an extra decent amount of storage. As I said last time, I'm planning to stay quite a while in space, so I want to be able to store as much ore as I can get my hands on. Anyways, yeah, now with that little mishap out of the way, let's double check. Okay, the oxygen tanks are full. Let's not make the same mistake as last time. And yeah, let's pretend that this is the first time we're launching into space. Wait, let me check the fuel levels as well. Yep, tank is full. Okay. Yeah, let's just go. You have a bad feeling about this? No, Thumbcraft, don't do me like that. This is not the time, please. We need to get up to Y level 1100, I think. So we're about halfway there. I feel exhausted. Okay, Thumbcraft is just being... Oh, there we go. Here we are in the planet selection menu. And I think with the tier 1 rocket, we can really only go to the moon. So there's the overworld. Click twice to zoom in and there's the moon. Okay, yeah, let's just press launch. Oh, hello me. Where's my rocket? Oh, aha, there's the lander. Let's slow down our velocity. I definitely don't want to have a crash landing here. There we go. Nice. All right, we have made it to the moon. Let's grab our rocket launch pad and the rocket itself. I don't think we need the lander anymore. Yeah, you can go. Okay, well, I think we should first of all start by setting up the oxygen supply. Let's be a little bit quick about this. I guess for now, yeah, let's just dig a hole in the ground. Okay, we have a little classic 9x9. So now what we need to do is have the oxygen collector, the compressor, and the bubble distributor. This should be the correct orientation for the machines. Blue is for oxygen output and input. Grab a couple batteries here, an oxygen pipe, and we just have to give everything power here and start spamming down some leaves. Okay, it's almost there. So for our bubble distributor to stay active, it needs 160 liters per second. Okay, I added a couple leaves to the front and now we produce more than enough. You can see the bubble expanding, and as long as we're in here, I believe we can just safely take out the oxygen equipment. Yeah, look at that. We can breathe in space. Let's refill this oxygen tank a little bit. I'm gonna grab the spare ones that we have as well. I really should have made more of these, I'm not gonna lie. Oh well, we'll make do with what we have. Okay, I guess we'll place back the rocket like so, keep him safe in there. Let's set up our battery refilling system, auto output like so, and that should be good now. Yep, the batteries are recharging. That's good. And actually, that reminds me, we can also recharge the armor as well, which is nice. I don't think I can recharge the staff of traveling in here. This only takes RF, so that's not great. But anyways, let's grab our compressed chests, and I guess we can just start prospecting. Okay, the first couple of veins is not great. I don't think we really care about molybdenum. Actually, we kind of do for a couple of alloys. Yeah, so I might mine that. I might as well. All right, next prospect. What do we get? Oh, nice. Wait, that's all the veins that we're gonna need from this. It's actually mentioned right here in the quest book. Well, first we have to grab some stuff. Okay, now that that quest is finished, yeah, you can look that it's telling us to find ilmenite, bauxite, and basalt, monazite, neodymium. Well, we have all 3 veins right here. But of course, I'm not just gonna grab 1 vein of each. I'm thinking to grab like 4 ilmenites, 8 bauxites, and like 3 monazites. Ilmenite and bauxite, both of these are gonna be really important. We'll need them for titanium, so I definitely want to grab a whole lot of this stuff. Although first I'll continue doing a whole bunch of prospecting, and it's telling me that I can't use the hang glider. That's not great. Okay. I also have to remember that while we're here, we should also look for the moon dungeon. And so hopefully we can find one of those soon enough. Oh, look at what I found here. A little moon village. Ooh, and what are these blocks? Tin decoration? It looks really nice, but it's also compressed tin. Okay, that's a little expensive. And oh my goodness, wait, I forgot these guys existed. Alien villagers? Oh, that is so awesome. I don't think they have anything useful here though. So yeah, let's just keep moving here. Oh, aha, okay, so the vanadium steel prospector finally died, which means we can now get to using the shadow metal one that we crafted at the end of last episode. Now, because this also has a bigger range, instead of going to the corner of ore chunks to maximize how much it prospects, we have to go to the center. So something like this, and yep, look at that. 9 whole veins in one. And oh my goodness, wait, what? Is that 6 bauxite veins all in one? Wait, hold on. Let's prospect over here as well. Oh my goodness, that is 7 bauxite veins. Okay, yeah, I'm mining every single one of these. It's gonna be great. And I guess while I'm talking about about that stuff, I also did notice that there is quite an abundance of quartz veins, which of course are going to give us Certus quartz, and that's going to be very useful for AE2, of course. So I'm definitely going to mine a couple of those, maybe like 3 or 4 of them. There's also a bunch of cassiterite veins, which is nice, and copper. So I'm definitely going to be mining like 3 or 4 of these as well. And maybe I'll go for galena, but then again, we don't really need this. We have way too much lead and nothing to use it on, so. But anyways, yeah, let me continue prospecting here. Just a little bit. I should really get started with mining right now. I've already gone through a full tank of oxygen. All right, yeah, I think this is going to be enough veins. I'm going to stop now. You know, the funny part is that I forgot to place down a waypoint at our oxygen base, but I think it's somewhere around here. This is probably where we did the first prospection, so. Oh yeah, you can see the bubble right here. Okay. All right, let's refill the oxygen supplies once more. And now I'm going to get done with the grindy part of mining everything. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how good this hammer is for mining these moon veins? I'm so glad I invested in this. All right, well, anyways, I think this material collection is going to be more appropriate in montage format. So yeah, let me just do a bunch of that really quickly. Yeah, okay, I think this is what I'm going to do. 10 bauxite veins, 6 ilmenites, 4 monazites, 4 copper, 4 tin, and 4 certus. So while it is going to be like probably just a 30-second montage for you, I'm going to be here for a number of hours, I predict. This is going to take a while, yeah. So yeah, see you guys in just a moment then. Okay, how many? Whoa, that's way too many zombies. God damn. Okay, I mined so fast that the game crashed. Alright, well, I really hope that you enjoyed that like 2 or 3 minutes of me mining, because I totally didn't. I've been here on the moon for about 2 hours now, and all I've done is collect many veins here, as you can see by the mini map. And we actually ended up with 6 compressed chests full of materials. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. There's also this one right here just for moon rock, because I think we can get a couple of nice goodies out of this. Although I'm not sure if I'm really going to do it, because this recipe is 162 seconds at MV, which is not great. But yeah, if you look at the chests here, I think in total we have about like 20,000 ilmenite, 12,000 bauxite, a few thousand molybdenum. I did go ahead and mine that vein. Many thousands of chrome, actually, in the form of raw chromite and uvavorite. And also a couple thousand neodymium, although most of it is in monazite form. And now we can get to rutile, which is, well, how we're going to be able to produce titanium. If you look at ilmenite here, we get this as a byproduct, and we can also blast furnace ilmenite dust for some more of that. Although I think in the future, we're actually going to invest in this thing right here. Yeah, this is special ilmenite processing, where if we mix it with sulfuric acid, you get 2 rutile from each one, which is great. And then you get this ilmenite slag that you can centrifuge for some other goodies. And the green vitriol solution here, you can electrolyze for your sulfuric acid back. So it's completely free. Basically, just input ilmenite, get tons of rutile out. We're not going to do it right now, though, because it does need an EV chemical bath. So that's going to have to wait for a little bit. I think there's also something similar for bauxite as well. Yeah, but that does require a hefty amount of machines. So we might get to it in the future, just not now. Anyways, I believe we're actually done here on the moon, other than one last thing, which is going to be the moon dungeon. And I actually, while exploring, I did go ahead and find one of those relatively close to our oxygen base. Yep, it's right down here. So yeah, let's actually go raid this thing. I also definitely want to grab all these spawners here. They will be useful if we ever want to make more powered spawners in the future. Let's also make sure to grab the quest for this. Oh yeah, for the quest, we still need to clear the dungeon. All right, then yeah, let's get to it. Oh, okay, apparently this leads to dead end. Maybe. Well, that's curious. Okay, well, thank goodness for the minimap, because I would have not seen that. You know, we killed your brothers last episode with the Wither Scouts and Spawner. And that was incredibly easy. Okay. Yeah, stop your whining. Yep, we got the quest. Let's open our thing here, and that gave me the moon buggy schematic. We don't need that. Okay, but it does look like we can craft this into the tier 2 rocket, so there we go. And this reminds me, now that we have the moon dungeon cleared, we do get a reward. Let's submit the brick, and it gives us a choice between, well, some EV bags, some marshmallows, whatever garbage that's here, or the personal dimension portal. We are definitely going to claim this. This will let us generate a separate dimension where no mobs will spawn, it's always daytime, and we can choose it to either be a flat world, or it can be a skyblock too. Let me show you actually, if we place it down, well, we have to go back to the overworld, that's fine. We'll show it off when we're there then. So actually, I guess let's go back right now. Oh, but wait, before I go back, I just remember that from the insane amount of mobs that I killed, we actually got a couple of creepers to drop these medium oxygen tanks, which is very nice. Although I guess they're not that useful anymore because we're about to leave the moon, but I'm probably just going to leave all of this stuff here. We can come back later to grab it if we need to. Let's just not forget forget about all the chests with the materials. And I'm just now realizing that this is like way too much ore. I don't know if our ore processing is going to be able to handle that, honestly. I really hope so, but yeah, I guess we'll see then. All right, well, goodbye, Moon. I really hope I never have to see you again. The amount of mining that I did was just traumatizing. Oh my goodness, home sweet home. And I think this is where my rocket is. Okay, yeah, there we go. Also, let's just quickly unlock the schematic while we're here. That'll be ready once we need to. Oh, how much I've missed the base. It looks like our Enderman is still actually here in the smeltery as well, which is nice. But yeah, so the personal dimension portal. If we look here, there's a couple of presets that we can choose from, but this is actually pretty customizable. You can also choose the biome and if there's any clouds, weather, trees fall. Yeah, I believe everything down here, once you create the personal dimension, cannot be changed anymore. Although the sky color and star brightness, these can be fully customizable anytime. So yeah, I don't know. Let's choose like a purplish color. That looks good, I think. Also for us, we're going to go with a jungle biome, and I'm going to disable all this stuff. Now, whether or not we have a void world or some sort of a flat world, I'm going to leave that up to you guys. I'm not sure what you guys want to see because we just did PO3 and that was a sky block. So I'm not sure if I should do that again or have some sort of a flat world. Yeah, so after this episode goes out, you'll probably see some sort of a poll on my community posts. You can vote there if you want to see that again, but for now, I think we're just going to move on here. And I guess this next part of the episode is just going to be spent hopefully making titanium. Yeah, I think we can easily do this. Probably gonna have another EBF set up specifically for that. Next to the vacuum freezer would be ideal. And while we set that up, I should have some of these ores processing in the meanwhile. Yeah, okay, we'll have that going. And for this, I think I'm going to macerate thermal centrifuge and then macerate again for the gallium byproduct. And then later we can electrolyze it for even more rutile. So, all right, now let's see the ilmenite here. Best path for us is going to be simple washing, macerating, and centrifuging. That way we don't clog up the thermal centrifuge with this as well. And then whenever we want to set up this line over here with the chemical bath, then I'll remove the filtering. Okay, let's see. Next up, I also want to filter in chromite and uvavorite. These are pretty good sources of chrome. And also while I'm at it, I'll do Certus quartz, which I'm just going to simple wash and then sift. So that should be good. For the chromite, I guess we'll just forge hammer and then simple wash because these byproducts are not that great. All right, and now the last ore that I'm going to filter in for now is going to be neodymium. And again, the byproducts here aren't that worth it. So we will just forge hammer and simple wash. All right, so yeah, just give me a moment here to set in all the filters. So hi, it's actually the next day for me right now. And I did filter in all those ores like I mentioned. I also let the ore processing run for quite a number of hours while I was at school. Maybe 6 or 7 hours here. Don't say it. Never mind. And I was gonna let it go for a little bit longer, but then I decided to just like claim a couple of the quest rewards. We had all of these guys done, a couple of like the IV circuits and whatnot, and I got like 7 HV loot bags. So I went ahead and opened them, thinking that I wouldn't get anything special really. You know my luck with the loot bags by now. We don't really get that many good things. But instead, check out what we got here. Let's first start off with the non-important things. So we got a lot of empty canisters, which I guess will help later for the other tiers of rocket. We got a couple liquid transfer nodes, some carbon plates, a couple creative tool modifiers, which is nice. ILC chips, we don't care. MV pumps are fine. Raw silicon, we don't care. Another parachute, we don't care. But then check this out. We got an electric jetpack, which actually I was gonna craft in this segment right here. I was literally about to look up the recipes for the jetpack before I started recording. And then I decided to open the bags and then I got it, which is kind of crazy. I mean, look at how expensive or, well, convoluted the crafting recipe for this is. Yeah, this would have not been fun at all. I am so glad we got this. And that's not even the best part because we can still upgrade this to the advanced electric jetpack, which is way, way better. This has a pretty good hover mode. It lets you fly really fast and it holds 3 million EU instead of 30,000. So I won't have to recharge this as often. There's a second upgrade to that once we have tungsten steel that combines it with the nano suit. So we're definitely going to do that at some point. But right now, let's just stick with this guy. Although before we get into that, let me just quickly go over what I did in between the cuts. First of all, check this out. I made myself this shadow metal wrench at HV tier. And this is pretty much the best wrench we're ever going to have. This is never going to break on us. I highly doubt it, at least. And next thing is, of course, as I mentioned earlier, I let ore processing run for quite a while. And well, it's safe to say that we're not going to run out of rutile anytime soon here. This is already a couple thousand, plus what I've been cooking in the EBF, right? I've been running the ilmenite plus carbon recipe here. Yeah, I believe I mentioned this earlier, and this gives us more rutile. If we look here, we have another like 2,000 or so. By the way, rutile is the input for the titanium line. I'm not sure if I mentioned this. And speaking of which, I've decided that we're going to actually place that line over here where the implosion compressor used to sit. Yeah, I removed the multi-block. He's just sitting in a chest right here until we need him again. But yeah, so I plan to put the line over here, and I actually already went ahead and crafted all the materials we're going to need in this chest over here. It's actually fairly simple. It only needs 1 EBF and 1 chemical reactor. I decided to go with the LCR just because we can. And then we also need 2 electrolyzers. All of this is going to be powered off a single combustion generator with a couple batteries, and I'm also missing a transformer. Yeah. So yeah, we can already start getting some titanium. And I think after that, we'll be able to get into applied energistics. Anyways, yeah, before before we get into that, let's deal with the jetpack, which is going to be fairly simple. I need to craft one more EV circuit. We also need to start blasting some platinum. The composite vest is fairly cheap, actually, although it looks like the quest for that is locked behind iron armor. Okay. Yep, so now we can get the composite vest, and I believe that should have unlocked the quest for the jetpack. Oh, okay, it looks like it's locked behind the EV chapter, which I guess we can unlock, because even though we're missing titanium, if I remember correctly, there should be a quest here that actually gives us that as a reward, yeah, which I was going to abuse, although I guess that's not really enough for the quest, huh? Okay, yeah, in that case, the quest can wait for a little bit. Let's just get our jetpack here. We will only need 2 plates for that, which is doable. And let's see, what else? Okay, yeah, just a platinum and EV circuit. Speaking of circuits, actually, I've been making 2 stacks of MVs. I've had these for quite some time now, and I'm actually going to go ahead and upgrade all of that into HVs. If we look here, our supply is not looking that great, and I want to have a stack of HVs before AE2 because, well, everything here requires that. Also, this right here should be my EV circuit that I need. And while that happens, let's deal with platinum, which is, as I mentioned a couple episodes back maybe, if we want to get as much platinum out of this, we will need the plat line, but that seems like quite a bit of work, so instead we're just going to blast furnace this stuff for the nuggets. Don't worry, we have no shortage of PMP dust. This right here should get me 2 stacks of nuggets, which is going to be more than enough. I think we actually only really need 2 ingots, so we're definitely crafting way more than we need. Just gotta alloy smelt that with the ingot mold. Right, now we wire mill. Oh yeah, and while I'm at the machines, actually, this reminds me. Another thing that I've been doing to get rutile is electrolyzing all the bauxite that we get. Although it's not really at a great ratio, I'm not gonna lie. I've already electrolyzed a bunch of this, and we only have 40 rutile, which is not great. I probably would have gotten more if I did the ore washed and macerate centrifuge route, but I want the gallium from this, I'm not gonna lie. And we do get plenty of rutile from ilmenite, so I can't really complain. Oh yeah, also about these conduits, this is just because when you electrolyze bauxite, you get hydrogen as a fluid and oxygen in item cells. So we just have a couple conduits here to take care of that and cycle the cells around. If only this guy was empty. I was electrolyzing some chromite as well for the chrome. Actually, you know what? I wonder how much we're up to. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a pretty decent amount of chrome. Anyways, coming back to my platinum and also the EV circuit. That should already actually be everything for the jetpack. Yeah, nice. We're not gonna get to the quest for that, but that's fine. This is also charged in an HV machine, so that's cool. And now I need to figure out the keybinds. Aha, okay, I found it. So it's called Gravisuite here. And I believe the fly key here is what enables the engine. Let's put this on our back here. Yep, the engine is on. Okay, now I have to figure out how to get the hover mode working. Okay, you just have to go to the IC2 controls and then you set this mode switch key to whatever you want. Then you just press that while holding spacebar. And as you can see, that toggles the hover mode. All right, that's very nice. This is practically creative flight. It's also super fast, which is nice. All right, anyways, now that we have that out of the way, I guess it's time that we get into titanium production. The earlier we get this going, the better. Let me just not forget about grabbing some conduits, pipes, energy cables, yeah, all that extra garbage. All right, well, let's get started, I guess. So first things first, we are going to build the EVF for this, which is going to be running with cancel coils. That is the minimum tier. I actually have all the recipes pinned, so let's check them out. If you look here, the recipe for titanium is going to be combining magnesium plus titanium tetrachloride, and that is actually going to come from carbon plus rutile plus chlorine. Now, the cool thing about this process is that the carbon is fully recyclable in the form of carbon monoxide that you can electrolyze, and the chlorine, you can also get all of that back from the magnesium chloride dust that you get as a byproduct. Yeah, you combine that with a little bit of sodium for your magnesium back as well, but you also get some salt from this, which then electrolyzes into chlorine and sodium. The chlorine, of course, goes back to titanium tetrachloride, and the sodium goes to magnesium chloride. And so basically what that means is that the only inputs for this is rutile dust. All the extra stuff is actually recycled, and so as long as we have a constant supply of rutile, we will have a constant supply of titanium. Yeah, it might sound a little confusing for now, but I'm sure it'll make more sense as we start building this. So we'll start with the EBF here. For this guy, we're going to want to have an input hatch, an input bus, and an output bus. And then energy hatch, I guess, can go at the front. So that should be good. And of course, the rest can just be casings, plus the coils. And muffler hatch. All right, now let's do the LCR here. The energy hatch for which can go right there. And now for this guy, we're going to want an input hatch, 2 output hatches, an input bus, and an output bus. And again, now the rest can just be casings plus our maintenance hatch, which will go right there. All right, cool. Let's start off with the power, which is just a battery buffer, as we mentioned. And let's hook up the diesel to that. Oh yeah, and let's also deal with the 2 electrolyzers. I guess we can have their transformer right there. Connect that guy up and then have a couple of cables like so. I guess we can have the first electrolyzer straight onto this output hatch, which can be the guy for carbon monoxide, right? I believe this is just input fluid, output item. Yeah, that should be easy enough to do. The other guy that's going to go there is going to do salt, so he's a little bit more complicated, but that should be fine. Also, yeah, as a byproduct from carbon monoxide, we get oxygen. This is just something extra that we get. It's not used anywhere anywhere else in this line. So we'll just overflow void mode that. Also, now seems like a good time to place in our input and output barrels for rutile dust and output of titanium. Although I guess that technically is going to come from the vacuum freezer, which connects over there. So I'll have to hook up some sort of wiring to here. But all right, so I guess let's just go ahead and start piping everything in. So we just need to extract the rutile into the input bus, and we'll enable limit insertion so that no more than one stack goes in there. And then we're also going to supply some carbon, which is going to be recycled, of course. Also, now is about the time that we're going to need a bunch of chlorine. And again, this is also going to be recycled. And I believe we just have to lock this output hatch here to titanium tetrachloride, which we will then filter into the input hatch of the blast furnace. Although now that I'm looking at it, there's a cleaner way to do this. If we move the input bus to this side instead, not there. Yep, like so. And connect up the conduit like usual. We can actually have this output hatch connect to over here and then grab the input hatch, which can also be right next to that guy, and then point them into each other. So that should be good. That saves a couple conduits. They're not the most expensive thing in the world, but you know, if we can save some materials, then I'd rather do that. This also lets us move the input hatch to the middle as well of the LCR, and that should also save a couple more conduits. We should also move the input bus of the EBF to here, and now we just connect a couple conduits. Oh yeah, I guess this is also the part where we have to turn on the machines. Alright, 20 seconds per recipe. That's not bad. The EBF is going to take 40 seconds to cook it into titanium anyway, so this is going to be the bottleneck, which I'm fine with. I guess while that's happening, let me grab some more rutile. Alright, there we go. The carbon monoxide guy is working. We're just going to have to extract the carbon out of that. And if we look here, okay, yeah, titanium tetrachloride ended up in the input hatch. Alright, all we have to do now is supply the EBF with some magnesium. Make sure to set this to circuit 12, and hopefully this should work. Nice. Alright, so here's what we're going to do now. We're going to send both of these outputs to a chest, and on the side here, we can extract this guy on brown, which will connect up to the same conduit network as the vacuum freezer. And of course, our brown channel here is set to the low voltage type filter, so it should only accept the hot titanium. That then will of course get cooled down. Although I will turn off the vacuum freezer for just a second, because if we look at the quest, it wants the hot titanium ingots for some reason. So yeah, we'll get enough for the quest first. But okay, so now we know the titanium is going to go that way. Now we want to filter the magnesium chloride, and I think the only way to really do that consistently is to just have an Ender IO filter and extract that on brown as well. This is why we can't just extract directly out of the output bus. Otherwise, the conduit networks will collide between where to send what. Anyways, yeah, so there's the magnesium chloride. Now we just need a bunch of sodium, which will also go into the input bus. And yep, perfect. This guy's already started. All right, now to make sure only magnesium ever goes in there, we can just block up all the other slots and extract everything out of the output bus on blue, I guess. We'll give a higher priority on the input bus, just in case, and then the electrolyzer can have the salt inserted into it, of course. Yep, there we go. All right, and now we want to extract the chlorine from this back into the LCR's input hatch. Let's filter that just in case. All right, that's working. And now we just have to extract on brown as well, which should send this guy to the input bus. Yep, nice. And that keeps the loop going. Okay, perfect. All right, let's just connect the vacuum freezer up now. And we should see, yes. Okay, hot titanium is in the vacuum freezer. Anyways, yeah, I guess I just have to let this run for quite some time. And I'm going to also want to monitor the power levels, which do seem to be going down. So just in case, I'm going to add another combustion generator. Yeah, this should hopefully help. All right, anyways, yeah, I'll AFK here for a little bit and then we'll be right back. Alright, so welcome back. I've been letting the server run for quite a while. I actually just took a nap and, well, it's safe to say that we have plenty of titanium now. There's also even more in the chest. So I guess let's grab our quests here. Okay, now we should turn on the vacuum freezer. Alright, now we can also grab the other quest. And now if we grab some aluminum wires, get a couple more titanium plates. Also, the wires need to be coated into cables, I believe. And now we assemble both of these components into, first of all, the EV machine casing, and then the machine hull. That's cool. Oh, and nope. Well, there's the quest for the jetpack, but also, why did you have to spawn at the same time? God damn it. We already have your brother in the soul vial. I don't need you. Also, actually, where did he go? Wait, I'm confused. Genuinely, where did this guy go? Oh, how the hell did you even make it down here? You're... Okay, there we go. All right, well, anyways, moving on. Now that we have the EV chapter unlocked, I think we're going to probably ignore it for a little bit. I'm trying to get into applied logistics here, so yeah, okay, the quests have been unlocked. Although it is quite late for me at night right now, hence why I'm trying to be a little quiet. So I think instead I'm just going to let the titanium build up for a little bit. I'll wait for all this stuff to cool down, and then I'll go to bed so that we can come back tomorrow and actually start up AE2. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. So yeah, see you guys in just a moment. Alright, welcome back. It's the next day for me. And I actually left my PC on overnight to wait for all the garbage to smelt, but I think that might have been a mistake because, well, check this out. We are completely out of diesel right now. And that's all because we're out of oil in that buffer. So yeah, that's not really great, but I guess we'll ignore that for a little bit. I'll build the diesel back up. But yeah, I also didn't just AFK. I was also periodically hopping on the server and doing a couple chores, like mixing up a bunch of alloys that we're cooking. You know, I made some more nichrome vibrant alloy. I'm also cooking silicon solar grade dust, like actually quite a hefty amount of that because while looking ahead at some of the AE2 recipes, I noticed that you actually need the plates for printed silicon, so I wanted to get as much of this as I can. I've also been cooking black steel because I'm not sure if you guys remember, but this is the material that we actually use for EV motors, and it's also a very good cable for transferring EV voltage. And then I also let some neodymium through the EBF, which again, that's just used in the EV motors, magnetic neodymium. Although for now, I don't think we're going to make any EV components. We're probably just going to ignore this for a little bit and just focus on AE2 unless we have to get stuff from here. So actually, yeah, I think it's about time that we get started on that. Let's see here. I guess we'll start off with the Meteorite compass, which has a little bit of a weird recipe, but that's completely doable. All right, a little bit later, there we go. All right, and now we have to go meteorite hunting. It's very convenient that we have the jetpack right now because this is going to make stuff easier. Okay, I think I found it. Yeah. Oh, it looks like it's probably in between these two chunks right here. So I'm going to dig right down the middle. Oh yeah, here we are. Okay, we got the logic press. Okay, that's not really lucky. We only got a single press out of that. All right, I guess let's move on to the next meteor then. If I move far away in the opposite direction from the first one, we should, or the compass should point to a different one. Okay, I know it looks like we're going to the same exact meteor, but trust me, this is a different snow desert biome. Also, it looks like the meteor is right here, and it's in between 4 chunks. Yeah, it's in between these 4 chunks, so I'm gonna start digging at the center here. And would you have it? There we go. Instantly found him. All right, let's see. And this gets us another singular press, which is the silicon. Okay, so that's good. At least we didn't get duplicates. Anyways, let me track down another meteor. Okay, there we go. I found another meteor. And this one is also buried between 4 chunks. So let's start digging in the center. There we go. Okay, and we got another silicon press. Well, that's absolutely garbage. Okay, yep, I believe I found another meteor also buried between 4 chunks. Oh, nice. The engineering press. Okay, yeah, now we're just missing calculation. All right, looks like I already found the next meteor. And we got another silicon press out of that. God damn it. Ooh, check out what I found here. This is like one of those villages that have a wall on them and like guards and stuff. That's very cool. This is the first one I'm finding in this world. Yeah, that's cool. Actually, before I go, I will absolutely be robbing them of the smeltery. Oh yeah, and definitely grab a bunch of these bricks here. Anyways, yeah, let's go back to meteor hunting. This one's nice. It's actually above ground, which is cool. We got another engineering press. Okay, well, I guess in that case, I'm not going to bore you with any more of this meteorite hunting. We'll just cut back to whenever I actually find one of those calculation presses. So yeah, see you guys in just a moment. Okay, moving on then. Let's check out the recipes for the processors then. Looks like we're just gonna have to melt down redstone, and then for the printed stuff, we just need a forming press with some different types of plates. Soda quartz is gonna take a while in the compressor, so let me get a bunch going. Okay, printed silicon, as we mentioned, is the silicon solar grade. Logic is going to be gold plates, and engineering is diamond. Okay, that's easy enough. I think I'm going to make a stack of each then. Matter of fact, for logic, I might as well make all 4 stacks. Oh, yeah, by the way, these gold plates I made like way in advance, a couple hours ago, actually. And also all these redstone plates. I forget why we needed them, though. Oh, right, we're going to laser engrave these with a ruby lens. And these will come in handy a little bit later. Also, by the way, just to check, did our diesel supply? Yeah, it has recovered slightly, although we should still definitely grab more oil for it. And I guess if we're checking material shortages, I think I haven't actually checked how much titanium we've made out of the system, so hopefully it should be... Oh, that's actually a decent amount of titanium. All right. We'll get like 4 stacks of plates going then. Anyways, let's grab all of this solar grade dust here. And I think our processor distribution is going to look something like this. 4 stacks of logic, 1 stack of engineering, and 2 stacks of calculation. So let's also get these plated up. And I might as well also start putting these through the forming press. Although I think I definitely want to grab a higher tier one because our LV guy is definitely going to struggle. Oh, and maybe I should actually have a second one as well. Yeah, actually, no, I will have a second one of them. That way the first one here can have silicon and engineering, I guess. And then we can put logic and calculation in the other one. And so yeah, let's start forming, I guess. Oh yeah, we're also going to need to melt down some redstone, about 7 stacks of it. And yeah, I think now that pretty much wraps up everything that I can show on camera. The rest of it I'm just gonna do by myself. It's just gonna be a whole bunch of waiting and then putting everything together at the end. While I'm waiting then, let's deal with the other side of AE2, which is going to be fluix. As we all know, this is a very important material. Although it looks like the first quest for it is locked behind quartzite vein. Oh, okay, it looks like I just haven't held a stack of barite ore. Okay, now let's see here. Okay, this actually seems simple enough. We will need some sort of a manual use chemical reactor. And I really want to move away from the single blocks. The overclock on this is going to be horrific. I'd much rather have an LCR here working at HV so that this runs like 16 times faster and it doesn't take 5 bajillion years to finish. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna craft myself up another one of those along with the combustion generator and whatnot. We're gonna be running it off HV, but since I don't have any more of those hatches, we'll just use 2 MVs just with some sort of a transformer. All right, a little bit of time later, I finished gathering up all the garbage here, and I even built a little space over here. And also for the inputs and outputs of this, I've crafted myself the HV versions because, well, they hold a lot more, so they're going to allow us to batch craft a little bit better. But yeah, we're going to have 3 input hatches here, 3 outputs, an input bus on the top, and then an output bus here. Controller can go there. Maintenance is going to be a little awkward, but that's fine. And last thing to do now is the energy hatches, of course. Also, yeah, I got myself another Ender IO reservoir because the recipes we're going to be running here soon need quite a hefty amount of water, so I thought I might as well get one of those. We also have an input barrel with a conveyor and then an output barrel here. So now let's just grab a bunch of redstone and Certus quartz, and I believe also a little bit of sodium, and we should be able to just combine everything. All right, yeah, there we go. And that is definitely a much better rate. 5 seconds for 3 charged Certus instead of the 30 seconds per one that we would have had to deal with. All right, nice. And it looks like the Fluix recipe is unchanged. Yeah, the only difference is that it's done in a mixer plus water, which we should be able to easily do. Yep, there we go. I think I'm gonna make 4 stacks of the Fluix. That should be a decent amount to get started with. I just have to wait on the Certus quartz charging, so I guess in the meanwhile, we can come back to our processors, which have finished. Okay, it looks like we're already getting into the ME controller. We're just missing Fluix blocks here, which needs pure Fluix crystals, and that's just going to be made in the autoclave from the seeds, which is easy enough. Okay, so as usual, it's been a little bit of time later, and I just got done with making a bunch of Fluix dust. You don't even actually have to macerate the crystals. You can just use the mixer recipe with all the dusts instead of the gem versions of the things. So that's actually pretty convenient. And yeah, I definitely think I should make a bunch of the dust here because it's what's used in the glass cables. Although I guess other than that, it's not really that useful. But anyways, yeah, let's get back on track. So we need the Fluix seeds. That's just an assembler recipe with the sand and the Fluix dust. And now we autoclave. Okay, that should hopefully not take too long. So by the way, this only has an 80% chance for the recipe to actually succeed. So that's not really great. Is this the only way to make Fluix? That actually kind of sucks. Well, anyways, here's the Fluix crystal quest before I forget. And it looks like I'm also going to have to start making some pure Certus quartz and nether quartz here. Okay, that shouldn't be too bad. All right, while we wait for that to happen, we'll look at the energy acceptor next, which seems actually quite simple other than this glowstone plate, which is very simple. The only thing that we haven't got is glowstone plates, but we can easily make that with the fluid solidifier. And I'm going to make a bunch here because I know this is used in other places. All right, so there we go. Oh, and from this we actually get a AE basic loot bag. These can actually be really good. Let's see what we get here. Okay, that's not great. All right, I guess now let's move on to the cables quest, which wants us to get just some random bits of garbage. Let's see. So quartz fiber is just going to be wire milling any sort of quartz rod, and those just come from the lathe. Now, thankfully, I did see that recipe quite a number of hours ago, so I have been actually letting that stuff go through the lathe. And yeah, this is going to be a decent amount to start with. I wanted to get that going early because the lathe here is just going to be incredibly slow. And now that we're doing cables, I actually just remembered about something here in the quest book. If we go over to the shop, I should be able to... Yeah, I can buy ME cables. 1 blue technician coin for 24 cables. That's not a bad deal. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be abusing that in the foreseeable future. But all right, let's see. So it looks like we also need some covered cable, and that's just assembling machine with some rubber. It does have to be an MV, which is a little weird, but that's fine. We can do that. Also, by the way, we can start crafting some of our own glass cable. I did complete the retrieval task for the quartz fiber, so we can now put those towards making this, although I think I should probably save a couple of these. All right, so I also just picked up the covered cable, and now the only thing that's left is some cable anchors, but we have plenty of those. Looks like our next quest here can be for the ME drive. Although I think I'm just going to leave that for tomorrow. It is getting quite late for me here, and I've been doing a bunch of crafting. I'm getting a bit tired here, so I'm going to go to bed now, take a short break, come back later, and then we can deal with the rest of the stuff. So yeah, see you guys in just a moment. Alright, so welcome back. It's actually been like 3 or 4 days since the last clip, which is quite a bit of time. I actually forgot exactly what we were doing. All I remember is that yesterday I hopped in for a little bit, and I killed another Urgas so that I can make myself an unbreakable excavator, and I gave this guy the silk touch, just because I can. Literally no other reason to. But yeah, so I've also been letting the server run for a few hours here and there. So if we check actually the blast furnaces, oh, that is a nice amount of titanium. Yeah, I'm gonna take all of this and make it into like plates, rods, screws, whatever we need. I've also been blasting a lot of materials. I made a bunch of vibrant alloy, nichrome, yeah. As a matter of fact, there's actually still more that I was doing. All this energetic alloy is going through. All right, let's make like that much titanium into rods. That should be good. And then this other half a stack I'll make small gears with. But yeah, anyways, coming back to applied energistics, yes. Oh yeah, I remember I did a bunch of crafting for this stuff. Oh, nice. That is a good amount of Fluix. Yeah, I'm gonna take like 2 stacks here and compress that down. This should be what? 16 Fluix blocks? And yep, that's exactly what we need in the controller recipe. Oh, and it just doesn't stop. Wait, I completely forgot I made all this fluix and all of this quartz fiber and all of these rods and all this charged certus. Yeah, so we have plenty of raw materials to get started, or continue, I mean. So before I forget, let's grab the quest. And it looks like this is just leading to, yeah, molecular assemblers interfaces. We're not going to care about that part of the quest book then. Not yet, at least. I guess let's just quickly deal with this. Smart cables. These are actually quite expensive, requiring an MV circuit each. Although honestly, that'll probably be fine. Yeah, we have a pretty decent amount of them. So I'll make a full stack of smart cables. I'll also need to melt down some conductive iron. I believe we also use these to upgrade into, yeah, the dense smart cables. And I definitely want to do that. Like 16 of these should be good. Oh, that's going to be another stack. Okay, well, I guess we're crafting 2 stacks of smart cables. Ooh, and these quests are actually going to give us a couple more cables for free. I'm totally going to take that. All right, now coming back to the ME controller. Wait, we can actually make all 16. Yeah, sure. Oh, and we get a loot bag out of this. Let's see what we get. Absolute garbage. All right, next up, let's also get the ME drive, which I'm just missing an ME chest, and that's just missing a steel chest that I just crafted now. So there we go. And I guess now we should also get some storage components, which is all going to start with item processors. Now, this is actually going to be quite important. So I think I'm going to make a full stack of these. This isn't just using storage components. Or well, it technically is, but the storage components themselves are used in a bunch of other stuff. So we definitely want to have these available. Now, the recipe for these is just logic processor plus item circuit tier 1. And that's going to be an HV forming press, which thankfully we have now, with engraved gold chip and golden chipset. The gold chip here is actually something that I already crafted. Is gold plates plus diamond lens. And I think, yeah, I already have a full stack of that, plus these redstone chipsets, which is a similar thing, ruby lens plus redstone plates. So let's see. So that's the engraved gold chip. The golden chipset is that redstone chipset plus even more gold plates, which I also already have. So actually, yeah, all we have to do now is assemble everything. Nope, not that. Okay, yeah, I wasn't trying to make another printed logic. Yes, take 2. We'll go here instead. And then that's going to auto output to the first forming press, which we can then just combine instantly with the engraved gold chips. All right, yep, that's good. Yeah, so that's the item circuit tier 1. Now we can take that and combine it with the logic processor in the assembly machine. Okay, so a little bit of AFKing later. All the item processors have done crafting. And while I was waiting, I did go ahead and make a bunch of storage housings. They're relatively cheap, so I thought I might as well. And I even prepared the materials for 10 4K ME storage components, which is of course very nice. Let's dump everything in. And we get the quest. And yeah, we can just combine this, right? Yep. Very nice. Okay, so now I believe all that's left to do is get some terminals, and also maybe we should get into some P2Ps. And then I'm going to go edit a bunch of the footage and see how much time we have left, because there is still one more thing that I want to do this episode, but I'm not sure I'll be able to get to it yet. Anyways, yeah, so let's start with the illuminated panel, which is easy enough. We get another bag. All right, please be good. God damn it. Okay, now the first 2 illuminated panels are going to go for making these network tools. I'm gonna need another quartz wrench. Let's get 2 of those. So there we go. That's the first one. Oh yeah, I forgot this is not gonna be a quest. But yeah, we're gonna want 2 of these. The second one we'll use in just a second, but for now, let's continue crafting up our terminals, which I'm just missing some Certus quartz plates. So there we go. 4 of those. All right, now we can upgrade the first one here to the crafting terminal quite easily, actually. Oh, these achievement sounds are a little bit loud. And for some reason, the quest also wants us to get an interface terminal already, which I guess we can do. We just need an interface, of course, and that is going to need both the cores and some EV casings. Okay, that's fine. In that case, we'll make like 10 interfaces to start out with. That shouldn't be too expensive, I hope. Okay, so this should be enough for, yeah, sure, half a stack of formation. And that's also half a stack of annihilation. Nice, that was a quest, and we don't even get anything good out of that. Well, anyways, this should be my interfaces. We just have to convert them to the flat ones. All right, nice. This one actually gives us a bag. Let's see what we get. Okay, I'm actually, like, this is not funny anymore. I have not gotten a single good thing out of those bags. Well, anyways, let's grab that interface terminal real quick. Nice, and this one also gives us another bag. Please be good. Can I please get something, like, actually decent? God damn it. All right, well, I guess let's do this quest for the pattern terminal then. We can get another bag out of that. Looks like we'll need a blank pattern, and all I'm missing is Certus quartz and quartz glass. I do already have the quartz glass here. And of course, Certus quartz is not a problem. So let's see how many we can get. Yeah, sure, half a stack. And now my terminal, please. Okay, let's see what we get out of this bag. You know what? I'm not mad at that. That's the first time it's actually given me an applied energistics thing. That's kind of stupid. Oh, wait, another bag? Okay, well, moving on, I guess, to the last thing, which is going to be some P2P tunnels. And I'm just missing a couple flux crystals for that. Okay, yeah, that's the quest, but I want to actually get half a stack. I'm just missing some more Certus quartz screws. Okay, that's easy enough. But yeah, let's see what we get out of this bag. Okay, not great, but I guess that's fine. I'll take it, honestly. It's better than getting non-AE2 things. Now, of course, if we're going to have P2P tunnels, we also want to have a memory card, which does need an EV circuit, but I've already pre-crafted that. And we get another loot bag. This one is an AE2 good bag, so I'm really hoping I actually get something decent. Never mind. Also, by the way, this is where we can get to use our other network tool to make the advanced memory card, which I definitely want to take advantage of. It just makes linking P2P things a little bit easier. You don't have to go all the way back to the original P2P. So see, on the network, we can just bind like so. And I think this is now an input and that's an output. Or maybe it's the opposite way. This menu is always confusing, so I'm gonna have to figure that out once we are actually setting up everything. But anyways, actually, you know what? We can already set up AE too. Although just before I forget, let's get the rest of those P2P tunnels. Yep, there we go. Anyways, yeah, let's get to powering up this thing. I remember that, yeah, I got a basic gas turbine from some sort of a loot bag that I was opening a while ago. And I believe this is the one that can burn our naphtha here. Yes, for 40,000 EU per cell, which, you know, it's not great, but I'm also just voiding that anyway. So technically, this is better than nothing. We can even feel it with the sulfuric gas as well. I'm not going to bother with desulfurizing them, even though honestly, it's definitely worth it. It goes up to 160,000 EU per cell and 220,000 respectively. So it's definitely worth it, but I don't care right now. So what we'll do is grab this output and then I'm going to pipe it all the way to over here so that we can get rid of this compartment. Yeah, I think we'll just get rid of this. Place in the drive, a couple cables, only the crafting terminal for now because, well, we don't need the others. And I also don't think this gas turbine is going to be able to power that much. You can have all of your 4K cells. And I think now I'm safe to just break this, right? Yeah, maybe. Okay, dump everything in. Okay, there we go. So energy acceptor here, gas turbine at the bottom. Also, just because we can, we're gonna have a battery buffer. And then let's even have a steam turbine working alongside the gas turbine, just in case, to make sure that we supply enough power for everything. So yeah, let me just now hook everything up. Okay, nice. We're getting power. Let's output that to the top and nice. Okay, everything turned on. Wait, do we have storage now? Nice. There we go. Well, there we go. We finally made it to the best part of any modded Minecraft playthrough, which of course is breaking all the chests and dumping everything in AE2. Except I cannot because something happened. Oh wait, I'm dumping things in too fast. That's exactly what's happening. All right, well, this is gonna take a while. Or wait, no, what I really should be doing is crafting a few of these energy cells. And that's definitely gonna help, yeah. You know what I also just noticed? If you look at the tooltip, we're actually kind of losing energy in the battery buffer. So I just crafted myself another gas turbine. This should help. I'm still gonna get those energy cells just in case, but I think that was actually our main issue. We just weren't generating enough power. Actually, since we have the network tool, we can even check. Okay, yeah, we're using 62 EU per tick, or technically 63, but I think it's just because there's a little bit of cable loss that's happening because of the battery buffer. And I'm assuming that's why technically, even though we have 64 EU per tick, only 62 is actually reaching the energy acceptor. And well, that's like literally just barely not enough, which is kind of funny. But yeah, anyways, there's my energy cells. Ooh, and the quest gives us an extra one. Yeah, totally gonna take that. All right, so let's see now. Hopefully that should solve our problem here. Although I'm still gonna have to wait a while for all this stuff to charge up. So actually, yeah, give me just a moment here. I'm gonna go take a quick break here, edit some of the footage, move all the barrels into the ME system, check how much time we got in the episode, and then we'll move on to our next projects. Or we're gonna wrap it up here. Yeah, anyways, see you guys in just a moment. All right, so welcome back. It's actually been a lot of time since the last clip. I haven't really been doing that much. There's only a handful of things that I've done. First of all, I made myself this energetic alloy bolt with meteoric steel as per recommended by the quest book, and that's just so that we can upgrade our bolts a little bit. Oh yeah, that almost does double the amount of damage. That's pretty good. As usual, I've also been making more AE2 things, you know, more quartz fiber, a bunch of fluics, although it's all in the ME system. Oh, I guess not this pure fluic, so let's grab that. A couple more stacks of processors here and there, yeah. And I also, as you can see, I modified our setup just a little bit because I actually saw that in one of these quests here, yeah, this one, short guide, this recommends for us that we make this little setup where the ME system will only turn on if we step on the pressure plates, courtesy of this toggle bus that we have here connected to the energy acceptor. So when we're not using the ME system, all of these energy cells will build up on power, and then they get discharged whenever we enable the system. It lets us save on a little bit of power. Not that that's really a problem, but still. Also, yeah, as I said, I did go ahead and move most of the important stuff that we use a lot for crafting. Not everything, because, well, we just don't have enough storage for it. But yeah, most of the garbage is in there. But yeah, so looking at the time on the episode as well, there's not too much time left. So we can't really do anything significant, but at least what I can do, there's at least still enough time for us in the episode left to, first of all, generate the personal dimension, which, as has been decided by the poll, we're gonna go with a flat world. I think actually it's one of these guys. Yeah, the second preset. So yeah, in the end, we are not going to be doing a sky block. And also the way our world is gonna look like is I want the top layer to be made out of stone slabs, and then we're gonna have like 64 blocks of air, and then a layer of bedrock at the bottom. Yeah, I think this is good. We can turn off clouds and all of this other stuff, and I think we just click generate now. All right, there we go. Let's check it out. Let's give the world a little second to load. But yeah, this is where we're going to be putting our new base at some point. And actually, speaking of which, I've already spent a couple days here building up some ideas for how I want it to look like. And so here's just a little bit of a preview. Yeah, check that out. Yep, that's all the time you're going to get to see. We'll be building that next episode. For now, I want to spend the final few minutes of this episode here while just collecting all the building blocks that we're going to need, because there's quite a few of them. Matter of fact, I have them all pinned right here. And originally, I was just going to batch craft a bunch, but I think in this case, the better practice would be to just go ahead and fully automate them. It's honestly not too bad. It is going to be a lot of assemblers, but we can totally do that. Yeah, if we just go with LV assemblers for everything, it's not going to be too expensive. So yeah, let me craft up a bunch of machines here, and then we'll go set that automation up. Alright, so it's been a couple of minutes later, and I think this is all the stuff that we're going to need. Although there's still just one last block that I'm going to need to find, which only spawns in the Mystic Grove biome. And according to the Nature's Compass, the nearest one is like 3,000 blocks away. So yeah, I'm going to be traveling here for a while. Ooh, aha, there we go. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. This special tree here called Magic Wood. It's a very nice shade of blue here, and I think it's gonna look really good with all the other blocks that I chose. And the cool part about these is that we can also chisel them into other variants. Yeah, which should also hopefully look very nice. And of course, since this is a tree type, we can add these to our farming station to fully automate them, which I'm definitely gonna do. Alright, this should be enough saplings to get started with. Okay, so I have a couple extra barrels here, and I'm gonna move the contents of the rubber tree stuff into these guys. That way we can slot in the magical wood and start growing this for a while. Yeah, so take out the rubber saplings. Oh, and I'm actually just now realizing it's not something that we can farm with the station. That's not great. Okay, well, that kind of sucks. All right, well, I guess in that case, we're just going to be stuck with farming these guys manually. This farm here should be fine. Oh, yeah, there we go. They've already grown. Anyways, yeah, now seems about time to, well, start looking at setting up all these machines. As for location, I literally could not care. We're just going to place it here. This is very temporary anyway, and it should be fine, honestly. So first things first, we're going to start off by passiving Z-tone tiles, which is a combination of stone and smooth stone slabs. This is like the base block for a couple of the other ones, like Azure and Aegon. Now, first things first, we're going to want to generate some stone, which I'm just going to do with this rock breaker here. We'll have to have the water on the side and the lava on top. And I guess our output drawer can go on the side like so. Let's also hook up some power to this guy, which should be fairly simple. Just a couple steam turbines will do. And then a few batteries. And there we go. This guy has already started working. All right, now this stone is actually going to be used in quite a number of places, not just the Z-tone tiles. First and foremost, it's going to go into our first LV assembler, and this guy is going to be on circuit 4, which will produce a stone bricks. Yes, that will then be output to up here. And then with these stone bricks, we can take some lapis and a paintbrush to make our first block here, which is going to be colored stone bricks. I don't think there's a way to automatically craft these, so I'm just going to be batching this up every now and then. It's not really that bad either way, because these blocks aren't used that much in the base, so it should be fine. Anyways, for the next block, we're going to need a steam oven. All right, yep, insert on brown. Yep, so there we go. And of course, from smelting this stone, we're going to get smooth stone. That will then actually have to go into a cutting machine with one more conduit to extract into this guy. Oh yeah, and we also need to give him some lubricant. And nice, that's going to get us the smooth stone slabs. Now that's going to go into our assembly machine here, just via automatic output, and then we're also going to insert stone at the same time. And this needs to be on circuit 1. And nice, there's our Z-tone tiles. We'll output that into a drawer as well. Now, of course, the tiles are going to be input elsewhere, so I think we're just going to extract on black channel here. And yeah, that way we'll be easily able to transport it into other machines. Also, before I forget, we do have a second cutting machine here. That's actually going to be for the magic wood, since, well, we can cut the wood into planks, and that's just at a better ratio. So, you know, that should help a little bit since, well, we can't farm the wood that easily. We will also have a lubricant buffer here, so hopefully these cutting machines will work a little bit longer. And I guess the input for wood can be there, plus 2 output barrels. Of course, our first output is going to be for the wood itself. Lock him. But we also get a byproduct of wood pulp, which is going to go into that drawer. And then we can auto output the wood to the side. All right, now this is the part where it's going to be a lot of the same stuff. It's going to be a bunch of assemblers. So it's all going to start by supplying 2 things. Glass blocks here and lapis here. Or actually, it's going to be a little bit easier if I put it down there. Now let's also hook up conduits to everything. And of course, all the power. Okay, I also got myself some basic item filters because I think we'll need them. But yeah, so let's start. We're going to want to, first of all, insert both the glass and the lapis into not there. Where is it going? Okay, yeah, let's switch up the color channels. Maybe purple. But yeah, so both of these guys are going to go into our first assembler. And I'm pretty sure we're going to need to use a filter for this. This is going to go on circuit 1. Oh, and it's not working right now because it's not connected to power. So from that recipe, we should get this Aurora block. And this will get auto output into the next assembly machine, which is going to take the Aurora blocks and combine it with even more glass. So let's filter that in. And this has to be on circuit 24, right? Yeah, there we go. From this, we get tinted glass, which is one of the building blocks that I'm going to use. So let's just give that its own drawer here. I'll put that to the side like so. And of course, lock the drawer as usual. usual. Okay, now moving on to the next block, which is going to be this azure block. It's a combination of our Z-tone tiles from before and some blue dye, which we can just get from shapeless crafting, like lapis or sodalite or whatever other garbage. So we're just going to take all of this lapis here and input a bunch of that here. Yeah, so now we just filter in both of these guys and insert on blue. Or actually, no, this has to be on black, right? Because that's where our Z-tone is coming from. Yeah, there we go. We're actually going to need the same filter for the next assembler as well. More Z-tones and blue dye. And that's because we're going to be using two different types of azure blocks. It's going to be this azure 14 and also azure 5. So let's have the appropriate circuit numbers, 5 and 14. There we go. And we can just output both of the blocks to the front. All right, now comes the time for the final two blocks. The first one's going to require some basalt cobblestone here, which I then need to chisel into the basalt from Amun Ra. And yeah, then that goes into an assembler as is on circuit 23 to get this really nice looking smooth basalt here. Yeah, I'm really enjoying how this block looks. Although I definitely am going to have to find a bunch more of this basalt because we use a couple thousand in the build that I have. And I was going to say that we can really only get that from mining, but no. There's a rock breaker recipe for this. That's actually pretty nice. Yeah, once I get some blue ice, that should be easy. And the blue ice here just comes from compressing down a bunch of snow. Okay, yeah, I'll do that in between the episodes. For now though, let's focus on getting the last block, which is going to require us to go to the nether first. And yeah, this is exactly what we're looking for. These ash blocks here that are like literally everywhere in the nether. Let's get a bunch of that. Oh, and god damn it, I have silk touch on the excavator. Okay, that sucks. We don't actually need the block itself. We just need these piles of ashes that it drops. And this can actually be converted directly into gray dye. And now this we can use to convert into the gray dye from GregTech. Then we take that gray dye and combine it with some bone meal to get light gray. And of course, bone meal is like literally everywhere in the nether, so it's not going to be a problem. But yeah, so with this light gray dye here, we can turn that into the GregTech version once more. And that's going to be our input, along with some Z-tone tiles, of course. And then that on circuit 24, yeah, it gets us this block here, Aegon. And there you have it. We are now completely finished with everything. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of blocks. It looks like our main bottleneck here as well is just stone production, which that's completely fine, honestly. I'm going to let all this stuff build up in between the episodes for a couple hours. And yeah, I'm also processing some more lapis ore. So I'm going to keep replenishing our supply of blue dye here. And hopefully in a couple of hours, we're going to have like full drawers of building materials. And I mean, that's going to be plenty for us. I'm just going to have to check. Yeah, our batteries are not doing great. I kind of expected that. Let's get a couple more steam turbines. But anyways, yeah, there's a fully automatic block production. Now, we'll still have to wait until next time to actually get to use them, but at least we have them now, which is great. And so actually with that, I think we're going to wrap up the episode here. Although just as a last note, I think I will be building almost the entire base design that I have planned out in between the episodes as well. I think we've seen plenty of base building on this series already, so it's probably better if I just do it myself. I'll show like a couple snippets here and there, but the majority of the building is not going to be done in a montage or anything. Anyways, we'll come back next time to delve into even more applied logistics automation by hopefully unlocking auto crafting, which is going to make my life a whole lot easier. We'll also have to think about power generation and planning some other areas of the base that I haven't yet built, and plenty of other garbage. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll come back next time to do the things that I just said we were going to do. But for now, though, have a great rest of your day.